Alright, let's I got these motors from SN Hobbies, so they asked me to try it out. These are I think classified as fast motors. So what I have here now are medium motors, originally from Micro Motor Warehouse. So yeah, I'll put this in and I'll try it out. Now let's see. These motors are not from, these are SN Hobbies branded, so let's see. Yeah, it seems pretty similar to the micro motor. Now that's measured, so that would be, yeah, pretty much like 6 millimeter motor, and with brushed motors you need to really pay attention to the color of the wires, because this will tell you how the motor would spin. So what I do is when I replace the motors of a tiny whoop of the inductrix, I do it one motor at a time. That way I don't get confused. Like for example, this is a white-black motor. I pull this out and replace it with a white-black motor. That way, I don't mix it up, move this here to there. So first step, there are these small rubber rings, whatever you call them, to hold the wires to the inductrix frame here. Take that out and put them aside. Make sure you don't lose them. It's a pain if you lose those rubber rings. Now that we got them off, we need to take out the props. Now be careful. There's a lot of ways that you could do this, but I use an X-Acto knife. I just want to make sure that I'd be very careful in pulling them out. And it's not that easy, but I'll try to be as careful as possible. So I hold it in the base and hook that there and pop it out. Very easy. Well, let's just pop all the other ones out. Now, before I replace the motors, what I do is with the replacement motors, and make sure that I try to twist them. That way it shortens the length, shortens it a bit. Now, piece of advice: if you're gonna do this, make sure you carefully twist it. There, once you got a good starting point, you hold it there and then you twist the other side. That way you don't put tension on this part that connects to the base of the motor. So anyways, that's what I do. There you go. So it does shorten it a bit, actually. Not that short, but hey, you know what? I like it twisted, so you might argue that it doesn't really shorten it that much, but for me it's just cleaner. Now after that, what I do is slowly, and carefully pop the motors out, and I do it one by one. So I pop a black-white motor and replace it with a new motor with a black-white one. Now you have to be very careful in how to pull these connectors out, because you just can't pull them on. Don't pull them on the wire. If you're gonna reuse these motors for another inductor, so if you're gonna sell them, you want this intact, right? So don't pull them or yank them on the wire. I use my X-Acto knife too, or you could use also a flat screw or anything that has like a flat pointed, and then I just try to gently pop it up like that. So just very, very, very careful, don't hit the the wires. What I do too at times is use a long nose pliers and gently pull the connector out. So you just make sure that you got a good grip of the connector, and don't grip it too much, and then try to wiggle it out. As you can see, this is not easy to pull. And then I pop the motor. How I do it is just, use my fingernails and try to, do that, and then slowly give it a push. And once I get it to that point, I basically pull it from here, or you could use a screwdriver like this and then just gently pull it, push it away. Make sure you don't hit the wires. Okay, there you go, and it's out. So I'm gonna do one at a time. I'm gonna set, this is my medium motors, and I will replace it with the ones that I got from SN and Hobbies, and they said this is rated as again, fast motors. So you put it in there. Make sure that the wire come out on the hole near the flight controller. Don't let it go out the other way, or else you have to. It's just not cleaner doing it that way. And gently push the motor back. And again, use your fingers and use this part of the frame as your, to get some. There you go. And that's it. Motor 1 is in. There you go. Now I have replaced all the motors. I just put the, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention it on the start of the video. I actually took a picture of which propeller goes to, or which motor, because there's a proper orientation. So I took a picture of it, and I'll put it back, and then we'll probably use 2 to 3 batteries to get this motors I don't know, burned in, or whatever you call it, and then we'll fly it. Alright, after a few flights, actually I burned around 10 to 15 packs already. I'm pretty happy with this fast motors from SN Hobbies. It does warm up a bit depending on the type of flying I do. Usually if it's just cruising around, going into gaps, small spaces, it's fine. But if I really push it hard, it does warm up. Not as warm as the Insane motors, and it doesn't pop the propellers that much. I don't have a Micro Motor Warehouse version of fast motors. These are the only fast motors I have, but what I can see is that It performs really good, and it's a lot cheaper than the ones that are being sold at Micro Motor Warehouse. So I would suggest, if you are looking and shopping for replacement motors, if you just got the Inductrix and wanted to convert it to a tiny whoop, look at the product link below at the description area of this video. I'll include a link to the product page on the SN Hobbies website, because I know that it is a lot cheaper than the ones from Micro Motor Warehouse. I know that for a fact, because when they gave it to me, they said, they haven't really released it yet, and yeah, it's a lot cheaper. So anyways, that's my take on these motors, fast motors from SN Hobbies. Check out the website at www.snhobbies.com.